Welcome to 5.4's Math Moment. Today students learned about modeling and simplifying expressions. Remember that expressions are equations that do not have a solution, or they're sentences that we're working with that we don't need to find a solution for in order to solve the problem. For instance, matching it with a model. So we're going to look at example 1. It says, tell which drawing represents 2 plus 3 in parentheses times 4, and which represents 2 plus 3 times 4. So notice the only difference between these two is that 2 and 3 are in parentheses in the first problem, which means we would solve them first and distribute the 4 to the inside. And here, we would actually multiply the 3 times 4 first because it's multiplication, and then add the 2. So the directions continue and say, make sure you can explain how you know which expression goes with which drawing. So again, I've got 2 plus 3 in parentheses times 4 and 2 plus 3 times 4. So I have two drawings here. I have blue dots and I have red dots, just to kind of show the different groupings and to differentiate. All right, now right away these two dots stick out to me. So I know that I have 2 in both of my problems, but the 2 in this problem is not connected to anything like it is in this problem. So if I can make sense of the red dots with 3 times 4, I'm thinking that this drawing should connect with this. So I'm going to start that out with 2 plus. Now 3 times 4, this big clump of red dots should come up to what 3 times 4 equals, which I know is 12. So if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 red dots, that seems to work. Another way to look at that would be to look at it as an array. This is 3 dots times 4 dots across, which also shows 3 times 4 equals 12. So I know that drawing 1 matches with this, and I can explain my thinking. Now, then it's pretty obvious with only 2 answers that 2 plus 3 in parentheses times 4 should match with drawing 2. But when you start looking at drawing 2, when you start to look at drawing 2, it's a little bit confusing because I see 8 blue dots here, and I see 12 red dots. And I don't see, 2 plus 3 I know would be 5. I know 5 times 4 is 20. And I do see that there are 20 total dots, but students might have a hard time explaining why that fits with that drawing. But what they need to remember is any time that a number is on the outside of a parentheses, whether it's in the back or the front, that number will distribute to either the number that you come up with, the solution inside the parentheses, or each number inside the parentheses individually. And if you look here, 4 times 3 is 12. Here's 4 times 3. 4 times 2 is 8. And here's 4 times 2. So this problem still makes sense. Now, if students are really struggling with visualizing how these go together, you can always have them solve the problem out using order of operations and figure out which one matches up with the dots, by how many dots there are, and matching that with their solution. But there might be some problems that they have to solve where they have to match up the drawing to the expression and they have the same amount of dots. So it is important for them to kind of see both ways. The next example, again, wants me to match different expressions to different drawings. Now these drawings look different than the ones that I had in example 1, where they're more blocks and just kind of looking at blocks and then also dots. So it says, tell which drawing represents 2t plus 1, which represents 3t, and which represents 2 times t plus 1 in parentheses. Make sure you can explain how you know which expression goes with which drawing. So I see that there are a lot of t dots, and those t dots I know would definitely show these t's in my problem. And I know whenever I have a number outside of the parentheses without anything in between, it's going to multiply and distribute itself to the numbers inside the parentheses. So I know that this also is 2t, and then 2 times 1 would be 2t, we'll get that t a tail, 2t plus 2. So when I'm looking at this, I see 1, 2, 3 t dots. And the only problem or expression I have with 3t is 3t. So that is the only one that makes sense to me for 3t. The next ones I have 2t also. This one has 2t and then 1 dot. And this one has 2t and 2 dots. So then that's a really simple answer to me as well. Once I distribute this out, for me to see that 2t plus 2 should be this answer, or that drawing, excuse me, and 2t plus 1 should be this drawing. Now that might be hard for students to see if they do not remember to distribute that out and to visualize that a number next to a parentheses is always going to distribute itself to the numbers inside the parentheses. If you have any other questions about 5.4, make sure to see your math teacher.